Hey guys, the patch is officially out. It is 2 o'clock and I am recording this video. I am going to be teaching you something important. So, Roadhog and Kiriko I talked about in my tier video, but now that they haven't been touched in the patch, I can go ahead and release this video. So, Roadhog having a self-heal along with the way that Kiriko interacts with him in the way that cooldowns work, we now have an infinity cycle. What I mean by infinity cycle is you can effectively now rotate 4 cooldowns and you can effectively make Roadhog immortal. What do I mean when I say immortal? So if Take a Breather has an 8-second cooldown, Protection of Suzu has 14-second cooldown, Immortality Fields has 25-second cooldown, and Regenerative Burst is a 15-second cooldown. Biotic Grenade has a 10-second cooldown, and Armor Pack has a 6-second cooldown. We can stack these cooldowns in an order to effectively make Roadhog immortal. So let's talk about the first cooldown. Roadhog, when he reaches 300 HP, should pop Take a Breather. It should happen every single time he's at 300 HP, and that's the trigger point for Take a Breather. You can use it when you're higher than that, when you don't need it, when you're stabilizing, but realistically, every time you hit 300 HP, you should be hitting Take a Breather, because that'll top you off to max HP, and you get 2 seconds of damage reduction built in to Take a Breather. So let's talk about our next cooldown, Protection of Suzu. This gives you a 1.5 second invulnerability on top of Kiriko's 100 health per 1 second. Kiriko's talismans heal 10 HP per talisman, and if you hold a single right click on the target while tracking, that is 100 HP. So if you are healing Hog specifically for 1 second as Kiriko, that is 100 HP per second that you are healing. Protection of Suzu gives you 150 free HP. So what does that mean for Kiriko? So that means that if Kiriko is topping off a regular just damaged Roadhog with her just regular heal, within 4 or 5 seconds, you can top off Roadhog completely. Roadhog will be at full health. Now, if you throw in Protection of Suzu while having to heal your other team members, you can get a heal in, a protection, another heal in, and then Hog can take a breather, because all you need to do is get him above the break point. So after you do this, we have a now, I would say, 4-second cooldown on Take a Breather. So let's look at the next ability in the rotation. We're going to be using Regenerative Burst, which is a 15-second cooldown. So if we use the 15-second cooldown now instead of Protection, and we hold Protection, that means that we're doing Regenerative Burst, which, if you use Regenerative Burst, can be up to 350 HP over 5 seconds with his basic auto attack heals. This also means that Baptiste can also top Roadhog off into the 300 HP mark and reset him at 650 HP. So again, the important thing is this cooldown is buying your next cooldown off of Baptiste's auto attacks. So if Bap heals for 50 on a grenade splash, it's going to take him 8 to 10 shots to fully heal Roadhog. But when you throw in a Regenerative Burst, it's going to substantially lower this. And as soon as this cooldown is over, you should be having Take a Breather. We can use Lamp the exact same way. Lamp is a longer cooldown, but it is, again, once the Lamp is finished, Roadhog should have Take a Breather up and should be able to top himself off. Now, because we're also including other supports, Biotic Grenade is 100 HP and 50 additional heals over that time. That also means that Anna's burst healing in this window is going to be in the 300 range. There's a theme here. I'm sure you're getting it at this point. Anna also, as soon as Hog hits 300 HP, can top him up in under 4 seconds. That 4-second mark, again, is important because it's half of Take a Breather. So if we cycle Take a Breather with Biotic Grenade and the other support cooldown, we can again top people off. So in the case of Anna, we have heal, 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 which is 300 to 400 HP. And then in the case of biotic grenade, it becomes 500 HP. And then take a breather being triggered at the end to make sure that Hog has damage resistance and is basically invulnerable. So let's talk about the sequence. The beginning of the sequence starts with, does Hog take a breather? Yes. Then you heal normally, nothing changes for you as a support player. It's on an 8-second cooldown. Now let's say he doesn't have take a breather. That means that we need to use support cooldown 1. Support cooldown 1 is going to be biotic grenade, which has a 10-second cooldown. It is going to be regenerative burst, which is a 15-second cooldown. And it's going to be any other healing abilities. Moira Orb, you might be able to get away with. I think it's a lot lower HP because Moira's heals are technically lower. Mercy with a pocket here might be able to get enough, but I think it's just short of enough. So you're going to want to stick towards Ana, Bridget, Bap, and that group. So with the rotation, we now go into, do you have support cooldown number 2? Support cooldown number 2 is going to be your invul field, is going to be Brig armor pack or an antibiotic grenade if you're using regenerative burst as your first one. And then you're going to always save protection of Suzu for the very last fucking cooldown. The emphasis on this is because you don't want to force protection early. Protection is used to counter the Ananade and the Junker Queen anti. That's the only thing that can break this. But if you hold protection, that can never happen. So let's say you get all the way to this point. Do you have protection? Yes, then heal normally. If no, you have to kite for take a breather. Again, each of these cooldowns buys you 4 seconds. So, because we have support cooldown 1 that takes 4 seconds, and support cooldown 2 that takes 4 seconds, you should have take a breather here. If not, you should be getting it within 1 to 2 seconds. So, is take a breather up? Yes, heal normally. If not, buy time for CD. Now, if you do this rotation correctly, and I've tested this in 3-minute intervals while having teams basically beat the shit out of my Roadhog, the Roadhog has anywhere between 2,100 and 5,000 effective HP. In 36 seconds, you can pump out 2,100 healing to Roadhog. Included his base HP puts it at 2,800 heals in 30 seconds. And you can get it up to 5k if you like abuse Ananade with the talismans, because the talismans become 15 HP, becomes 150, on a heal becomes 150. You get the point. But if you stack all of these heals correctly, you can effectively make Roadhog immortal. And immortal tank means he can fight for all the space in the world, he can go for picks, and basically you're invulnerable. So, let's talk about poking holes in this. So, in some cases, you're going to have Widowmaker, Sojourn, and a few others that are going to effectively make it so that you can't basically heal for free. But, in reality, you will be able to heal for free, because your Roadhog's going to challenge them along with your DPS. Because you're in a situation where you can fight for space permanently with your tank. This means that your tank can go straight for their healers and their backline. So that means that if they play Widow and they play Sojourn, you can mark the mirror, and we are effectively creating a skill matchup. So if we play Widowmaker Sojourn, Roadhog, Kiriko, Bap, this means that the opposing team, if they are forced to mirror, means that we're going to have a skill matchup with one-shots. Now, you can also do this with Sigma, you can also do this with Reinhardt, you can also do this with Orisa, though not as effective. It's all about rotating a singular tank CD with both support CDs. And it's around the 8 to 10 second mark, which is Ryan Recharge on his shield, which is Orisa's Fortify, and her abilities, Sigma rotates both of his, and you effectively have an immortal tank. Now, if we apply this into the current meta game state, because Sojourn's fucking nuts, you can effectively make your tank immortal if you rotate your CDs correctly. So, now that we know that these things haven't been touched and it's 5v5, you don't need to heal everybody as often. You support should be coordinating and rotating your cooldowns. You'll have an immortal tank, and they can just hold fucking W. GG. That's going to do it for the Roadhog video, and I will get some game footage of this into the tier video, which I am also working on. because that is updated now because we have our patch list until December. So in the meantime, I hope you all had a good time. Please abuse the shit out of this on ladder so that it gets fixed. And I will see you all in the next video. Much love. Bye-bye.